And the real Pamela joins us now because she's put it all in this book again. This is a kind of re-release, an update. I'm with the band. It's a fabulous book, really interesting. Hello, nice to see you again.
Hi.
Was it kind of like that? Did you certainly, for some of the time, when you were younger and you became a groupie, were you operating and acting sexually in the Monica Lewinsky school of sex with Clinton? You know, sort of. I can't really go into the detail, but we know what I'm talking about.
Well, I was completely ripped off, absolutely. But that scene was really stolen from my life.
Did they send you a check? Did they send you a letter of
No,
thanks?
that would have been very nice. But I have my own movie now in the works, so it's all right. Okay. But yeah, you know, there was...
You're not bitter, though, are you?
No. No, I'm not. Oh, God, I'm so easygoing. I still have that hippie heart, you know.
Yeah. Go on, though.
But it was, yes, it was a way to show appreciation to the people who made you feel so good with their music by, you know, performing a little
something for them.
Yes,
it
exactly.
didn't mean losing your virginity.
Right, which I was holding on to be in love, you know.
Right.
As long as it was a rock star. I was... that's what I wanted.
You definitely had your own code of morality, didn't you?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because when you really fell hard for Jimmy Page, didn't you?
Yes, I fell hard for all these rock people. I wanted a real long-term relationship with them. And I watched my mom take care of my father. I was coming out of the 50s. So I wanted to perform those wifely duties, but for a rock guy.
Yeah.
You say that when Led Zeppelin hit town on a tour, the sound of snapping garters on young girls' thighs could be heard across town as they rushed down to the stadium.
Yes.
Did they really have that big an effect?
Oh yeah, they were the epitome of the British rock invasion in America, because they were Jimmy and Robert, the most beautiful men. And then androgyny
Jimmy Page was beautiful, wasn't he? I mean, he was an extraordinary looking guy.
He was exquisite. He was like almost a boy girl. It was very androgynous, you know, like Mick Jagger brought androgyny in, and I loved it. It was sort of almost a safe way to start going out with guys, because they were sort of like you. They put lip gloss on and they crimped their hair, and you know, how do I look? More than I was in the mirror. They were in the mirror, you know.
It's one of the closing lines in the Banger Sisters, which again, the Goldie Hawn character is based on you, wasn't she?
Well, they both read my book for research, and you know, yes, you know, you had pictures of me on the wall, you know, for inspiration.
Flattering, but could have done with some money.
But corporately annoying.
It is flattering, yeah. It is.
What I was going to say was that I remember the line at the end of the film when Susan Sarandon's daughter goes off with a young guy she's fallen for, who is a musician, and Goldie Hawn turns around to Susan Sarandon and says, "It's just musicians." Did you feel that? I mean, do you still feel musicians are sort of the sexiest men on the planet?
Yes, I do, because the music still grabs me. It's all about how the music makes me feel. And I wanted to just get intimate with the music, basically. And I still have those longings, only now I interview them instead of, you know, whatever you want to...
No, but seriously, do you still get, just being absolutely honest, do you still get the odd time when you think,
Turned on, you mean?
Yeah.
Let's hope I still get turned on, huh?
She meant when you're meeting the rock star.
When you meet a rock star for the first time, one you've never met before, I mean, do you still think to yourself,
Oh, if I was younger, oh yeah. If I was younger, I would be all over Eminem. You know.
Eminem?
Yeah.
Right.
It has so much to do with what they're saying and how they're reflecting their audience and reflecting their world, and you know, it excites me when people are creative that way.
But getting back to you when you were a young groupie, but experienced, you know, and confident, you know, I'm with the band, you'd get access all areas, so to speak, and all that kind of thing. You actually once very successfully found out you were the one girl to do it on this trip, where Mick Jagger was staying, his chalet in the hotel grounds, and you knock on the door, this is what you say in the book, and he opens the door, stark naked. Now this shows how actually underneath it you were still quite an innocent, because you ran away.
Well, at that point I was very innocent. The word groupie didn't even exist yet. I was not into, I was only 6, I was still in high school. Right. But I was determined to make his acquaintance. Right. I just wasn't prepared for that. You know, I mean, he did it to scare me off. I mean, you know, it was his way of saying,
yeah, you're a big girl? Oh, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so obviously I went, oh, so I blew my chance, so to speak. And that time around anyway.
That time around anyway, yeah, we know.
But later on, you know, I made his acquaintance and I was ready for him.
Well, how do you think these guys regarded you? I mean, not being part of that world, but seeing it as a young lad, looking up and thinking, wouldn't it be great to be a rock star, as all schoolboys wanted to be a rock star? The groupie thing was clearly part of the package. It was part of the deal, and it seemed a wonderful part. But what did we think the rock stars thought about the groupies? They probably, we thought, held them in some kind of contempt. Now, it's clear that they didn't,
Not at
reading
all.
the book. You were
It was equal.
What did you say? You almost acted as muses to them.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a very equal give and take exchange. You know, they'd come to town, especially the Brits. I always loved the British guys. Because I was a Beatle freak. So they'd come to town and look me up. They'd look for it. I was in a band called the GTOs, an all-girl group. So we knew everybody. We knew where to take them. We knew what to. I ironed their shirts. I sewed their buttons on. I fed them.
You've got a picture of your band, actually, just here.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And introduced them to Frank Zappa. He was our mentor. That was our group. And,
Yeah, Frank Zappa, yeah.
And they all wanted to meet him too.
Yeah.
So it was all just it was a beautiful scene. There was just this magic in the air. It was, there was no. I never felt abused or taken advantage of. It wasn't like that in those days.
And
Later on, it became a bit like that.
You and the Beatles?
No, I met all of them. I finally met Paul just like 4 months ago. I was just a blithering
Bit late.
idiot, too. Yes, Heather was there with him, and he said, "We hadn't met before, have we?" And apparently he was pretty wild back there, and I said, "No, in my dreams."
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, he was very sweet.
What about nowadays? I mean, you make a comment in your book that it's different now, and that you girls then were different than groupies these days.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, but there's no access really. When I was a teenager, you could just knock on a backstage door and say, "Oh, come in." Now, of course, you can't do that kind of thing.
No.
And then AIDS came along, so the sexual revolution was stomped flat, and the guys started getting married earlier. Or now it's models and actresses are the modern groupies.
Can I ask you one final question, which only requires a one-word answer? Because if the answer is yes, we absolutely don't want you to develop the answer and describe anything. Is it true that one of your conquests was Michael Winner?
I can't answer that with one word. It was partially. Should we say that?
Partially. Oh, Michael, shame on you.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
No. I didn't expect that answer. That was terrific. I was waiting for a yes or no, not a partially. We'll have to write to him and ask him to explain himself. That has to be
I wish he would be
But
on here with us.
He was young and slim and lovely.
Oh, he was a director then. I was an actress. I went and met him that way. I made shirts for him. We went to Disneyland.
Yeah. Disneyland.
Yes.
Okay.
I love
It's great to meet you. Thanks a lot for coming, and that was fun.
Thank you.
Sweet talking to you.
And the book is
Thanks a
I'm
lot.
with the band, and there are pictures as well.